Welcome to my channel. Today we're looking at a couple of new products on the market. First and foremost, we are looking at the Armani Skin Tint. I have been anxiously awaiting this release since I saw it the day that it became available on Sephora. I had it delivered to my house because I was so excited to give this a shot. We are also trying the $85 limited edition palette from Dior. I have mine in the shade Bold Black. We're going to be trying the NATASHA DENONA HY-SCULPT bronzer and another new shade of the Soft Focus Blurring Blush by Ilia. I picked up the shade Wonder. We are going to touch on the Everyday Sunscreen from Jones RHODE and a new shade in the Dior Addict line. This is Bold Black. I, of course, have all of these products on my face today. It was kind of a roller coaster to get here. I'd like to see how all of these products perform on my 51-year-old face. You are in the right place. Let's get into it. Good morning. It's morning for me. It might not be morning for you. I am going to get ready for the day. So first things first, we're going to address this. Yesterday, I filmed my bronzer video where I talk about and try on 17 bronzers. I believe it's 17. I mentioned in that video that my skin was burning. It was getting raw because I took off my foundation and reapplied it every time because they were powder bronzers. Whatever. It was a whole thing. As you can see, my skin barrier is disrupted and my face is raw. I'm hoping that this foundation that we're going to use doesn't irritate that because it does have alcohol. Armani just dropped this new skin tint. This is just called Skin Tint. I have mine in the shade F3. This is called the Long Wear and Care Skin Tint. So it's supposed to be hydrating and good for your skin. However, the fourth ingredient is alcohol, denatured alcohol, not the moisturizing, hydrating kinds of alcohol. This is like actual alcohol. So I'm hoping that it doesn't irritate this part of my skin. Anytime my skin barrier is disrupted, products with alcohol really sting and irritate. So we are going to see if that is the case with this. I hope that it isn't, but I'm very excited to try this. It looks absolutely beautiful. I love the packaging. Wow, that's very liquidy. There is the shade, A Warm Figure. I'm scared to put it on my cheek. But this feels very thin. It feels very watery. So I feel like I need to blend it out quickly before it sits down. Okay, so that just kind of disappeared into the skin. That was super easy to blend out. I mean, I probably could have blended it out with my fingers. I'm not going to use a brush because my skin is irritated and I find that brushes are just a little bit more harsh on the skin than a sponge or fingers. A lot of times skin tints like this, like when you first put them on, they look like they're not doing much. And then after they've had a chance to like set down and sink in, they kind of look more perfecting. The Typology skin tint comes to mind when I say that. I would call this a sheer to light coverage. It did take down that redness on my cheek. Now I used very little. I used a pump. It's very thin, very serum-y. I am using a sponge though. Try to just put it on my chin with my fingers. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there. It did not entirely cover up this red patch on my cheek. It is a skin tint. This is not a foundation. It's a very sheer coverage, so I'm not really expecting it to. Let me look at it at 10 times magnification, see what it's really doing on the skin. Okay, so I have to be honest because that's why I'm here. At 10 times magnification, I can see it sitting on the face, which is super strange because it's incredibly sheer. It's a very lightweight product. On the back of the hand, it doesn't even feel like anything. It kind of blends into like maybe a silicone feeling formula. You know what I mean? It feels like it disappears, but it has that silicone-y type feeling. I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't feel moisturizing like skincare. It doesn't sink in like, say, the Jones RHODE or something like that. It feels a little more like silicone-y, which makes sense because the very first ingredient is a silicone. And the second ingredient is water. So that accounts for like the super thin texture. It looks beautiful, like right here. But up close, and it could be where I went and tried to rub it in with my fingers. At 10 times magnification, it is accentuating dryness. That is what I find is the case with a lot of alcohol-based foundations or skin tints. They set down beautifully on the skin and they last really well, but like at ultra close, like 10, like I said, 10 times magnification, it kind of looks like I have dry patches on my skin. This is just my opinion, obviously, but I think that the alcohol is in the formula to help it set down. If you have tried a formula that has a really high alcohol content, it just sets down beautifully on the skin. It dries down. It doesn't remain tacky. I think that that's why it's in certain cosmetic formulas. However, on me, I have very mature skin. It's not the most flattering. It's something that I can detect at a very close range. Nobody's looking at you at 10 times magnification, just to be clear. Like, nobody is seeing you that close. So at a normal distance, like when I'm just looking in my regular mirror, I'm not seeing that. It looks beautiful. It sets down and looks absolutely lovely on the skin. But if I get very close, and like I said, look at it magnified, I can see that it's accentuating dryness here on my chin that I don't see at normal viewing distance. And I don't have dry skin. I have normal skin. I thought, well, maybe it's because this side of my face is so irritated from the bronzer video that I just did. However, it's doing it on this side too. This side, I did not apply and reapply foundation 17 times. So this side of my face is not irritated whatsoever. I don't know. I've got mixed thoughts on this. I really wanted to like it. And I do. Like, looking at it right here, I do. It's got a lovely, like, can you see the glow? It's got a lovely glowy finish. It feels like it's set down. It just looks beautiful on the skin. It really does. Like, at normal viewing distance, just looking at it at this distance in my mirror, I really like what I see. It's just up close. So this is going to be something that I'm probably not going to be able to wear over and over, or I need to put it on a very hydrating base. And I didn't today. I just have my skincare on and my regular sunscreen. You know, I want to try it again with a really hydrating glowy primer. So that is what we're going to do. I am back. This part of my face is not loving me right now, but let me show you what I did and what I'm using to kind of repair that. First of all, I'm using the Calism multi-face cream. My normal skincare, what I can. Anything that stings my skin, I'm not using right now. This stuff right here, this is called Super Saturated by Experiment. This is such a nourishing, like, it's just moisture. It's a barrier support serum. They reached out to me and sent me some skincare products. I pulled this out after this happened and put this on. You know, I've put it on several times since yesterday. It's so good. It's very reasonably priced. It's like this clear gel formula, but it's this serum that like sinks into the skin and doesn't leave a layer, doesn't pill up. That is incredible, especially for the price. It is really helping my skin feel better. It does not sting. That's the true testament of something, if it truly is like barrier supportive to me, is if you put it on an irritated part of your face or a raw exposed part of your face and it doesn't sting. I went off on a tangent there, but I put that on, and then before I put that on, I sprayed my face with the RHODE glazing mist. Like, this is just, all of RHODE skincare products are very barrier supportive. So they're really good for irritated skin. So my skin feels great. You know what I mean? Like, it feels balanced, it feels hydrated, but because that formula has alcohol in it, we're going to go in, we're going to take it a step further, and I'm going to use my Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum. This is one of the most moisturizing, hydrating, like priming products that I have. It's just a light, pale pink serum, and it's so nourishing on the skin. This stuff feels great. It is fragranced. We'll see if it causes any stinging here. It's feeling great. So if you are new to my channel and you notice like this dent over my head, see that sometimes, and I wonder if people think like, what's going on over there? It's a scar from a car accident that I was in when I was a child, 6 or 7 years old. It looks like a dimple in my head. Like, it's not a scar where it's discolored or anything. It's just like a difference in texture there. If you ever see that, I just want to let you know what that is. So my skin is hydrated. It is nourished. It feels slightly sticky with everything that I've got on. So I'm going to give it just a minute to sink in, and then we will try this skin tint again. I also want to mention Jones Road. They sent me their sunscreen and a couple of other products. I'm working on a full face of Jones Road. I don't have enough. I do need to buy something else. I asked them to send me the bronzer in Dusty Rose. I wanted to include that in my bronzer video. That was the one that I was holding out and waiting for. And then I got got my package and they had sent the Miracle Balm in Dusty Rose. I mean, that's totally fine. I'm grateful to have it. I'm so thankful that they offered to send me anything at all. But I did want to try this. I haven't used it yet. I'm considering putting it on one half of the face. Let's do that since I've got this redness here. We're just going to work this in and see if it, please don't burn. We're just going to do it on one half of the face and see if this helps or hurts the skin tint. I'm not wearing any sunscreen right now. Don't worry, I will put it on after this video. I didn't want to put anything on that might alter the finish of this skin tint. So there is the sunscreen on one half of the face. I mean, you can't really see it. It's a sunscreen, not a skin tint, but I do feel like it evened out my skin tone. So that looks beautiful on the skin. I looked at it at 10 times magnification. It feels comfortable, looks beautiful. I'm so excited to have this. So thank you, Jones Road, for sending that to me. I was really looking forward to that. I love a good mineral sunscreen, and that one's very comfortable. Didn't irritate my skin going over it. We are going to go in with this. We're going to use fingers. We're only going to do one layer and see if it sets better on the skin. Just going to kind of press it in. We're going to do concealer real quick. I am going to use my Gucci concealer. And I think I might try to cover this. I don't know. Yeah, I will. So I'm just going to put a little here. Try to cover my redness. So let me just tap this out. I'm going to look at this complexion product up close and see how it's sitting on the skin with all of these hydrating products underneath. Okay, so it is still, I mean, again, this is 10 times magnification. This is not anything that anybody at a normal viewing distance would see. Even you yourself would see, even me myself would see at a normal viewing distance, but 10 times magnification, I can see that it is accentuating dryness that I don't notice otherwise. However, I will say I walked into my bathroom under those lights to wash my face to reapply this, and it looked so beautiful. It looked so beautiful like in real life. It's just super up close. You can see it. That's okay. That's why I always mention if something is undetectable, because I don't think it's that common. I think it's unique for something to sit on the skin to provide coverage and not be visible on the skin. That is an exceptional quality in a formula to me. That's why I always mention that. This is not that, but that doesn't mean it's not beautiful on the skin. I went to go grab my Prada powder because this just makes the most sense. Since I've got this red patch on my face, I figured the green powder is not going to hurt. Now, this isn't a super color correcting powder, but it does help a little. So I'm going to set under my eyes and this spot on my cheek. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do much, but it does a little. All right, and for bronzer, we're going to use something that I haven't used before on my channel. We're going to use the NATASHA DENONA HY-SCULPT Liquid Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Bamboo. I am just going to pump some out on the back of my hand, and we're going to apply it to the face and see how this goes. I'm going to go over it with my sponge just to make sure it's soft around the edges. That's such a pretty tone. I just looked at it at 10 times magnification and it's sitting so beautifully on the skin. You cannot see it, like it's undetectable. You can see the color, but like the texture of it is undetectable. That's really, really nice. I'm going to do my brows real quick. I'm going to use my Chantecaille brow pencil. I'm going to set my brows with the Rare Beauty brow gel. This brow gel is so good. If you need a strong hold brow gel that doesn't get flaky, this is an excellent one. And it does such a good job holding your brows. I did pick up another shade in the Ilia blush. I got the shade Wonder just because my friend Dia, Opulent Obsessions on YouTube, she mentioned that she got it. And I was like, I probably should have too. Wow, that's different than I expected. I thought it was going to be terracotta. It looks quite a bit more pink. Let me swatch this. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. So that is like a pinky terracotta. It's not, when I think of terracotta, I think of, you know, an orangey shade. It is an orangey shade, but it also has some pink in it that I think kind of balances it out. That might be the one that I go with, but I want to do eyes first. I do have quite a few options for eyes that we could play with. So I have the Jones Road. I got one of their little pot cream eyeshadows in the shade Cool Taupe. This looked really pretty on the website, so I'm excited to play with that. That's a gorgeous shade. I also still have Captivating Dunes from YSL that I have not tried yet. I picked up a new Chantecaille eyeshadow in the sale. I picked up Giraffe in the single. I love these singles. And then I still have Jones Road Penny that I haven't tried. I think I'm going to save the Jones Road for the Jones Road video. I am planning a full face of Jones Roads. I think what I want to go with is the Dior. I picked up the shade Bold Black. Now, I do have to say I'm a little bit disappointed in the fact that the Miss Dior, the whole point of the collection and the promo and everything is just a case, because I don't really store my eyeshadows in cases. I would have so much preferred the actual compact to have something a little unique, especially for the price. This is $85. Like my regular Dior Canage eyeshadow, that one that I love in brown cashmere, was $71. So I don't understand why this is so much. Surely it's not because of this pouch. Maybe it is because of the pouch. If so, that's slightly disappointing to me. And there it is up close. Look at those. They're so beautiful. This palette to me looked the most like different and unique to anything that I have. It has a black in it. I never use black eyeshadow. Like black eyeshadow is very intimidating to me. We're just going to see where this palette takes me. Wow, that's pretty though. The white feels like a topper, but it feels like a nice topper. It feels different to like the YSL topper. This green is the one that I was most interested in. It's the least kind of blingy. I have an idea of what I'm going to do. We'll see if it works out in practice. We are going to start with this shade right here, and I'm going to take it into the crease. It is a shimmer or a sheeny eyeshadow, but that is okay. I do not mind shimmers in the crease. Kind of laying this down to give the black that we're going to use something to blend out on top of, so it's not too intense. Okay, now we're going into the scariest color of all of them to me, and that is a black. I'm just not very good with black eyeshadow. But you know, I want to step outside my comfort zone with this palette. I think it's beautiful. And you know, let's just see. Wow, that's not as scary as I was anticipating. I am just kind of deepening up the outer corner and just lightly, like very lightly taking it up into the crease. I think that putting down that shimmer shade was the right move because this is blending out beautifully on top of that. And it's just like a very soft wash of black, which is what I was hoping for. Now I'm going to take a little bit more black and just intensify closer to the lash line here on the outer corner. I think I want to do the green just because it's a little different. So I'm going to take the green and I'm just going to tap it all over the lid. Wow, that's really pretty. This looks much more vibrant than I thought it was going to be, just finger swatching. This is why you have to like put things on and not just rely on a swatch. I am going to take the white with the sponge tip and go in the inner corner. I find that these little sponge tips are really nice for like the inner corner. That is like super duper metallic on the inner corner. I like it. Now I'm going to do something that most people probably would recommend against, but I'm going to take this pink shade right here because it's got a touch of warmth, and I am going to very lightly dust it in the crease. Just to give a hint of warmth. I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference, but it makes a little bit. Now, this is something you could totally use a bronzer or another eyeshadow or whatever, but I want to use just this palette, all of the shades in this palette, just to see if you can get a complete look without reaching into anything else. I try to do that as much as I can with eyeshadow palettes. Just use the eyeshadow palette and not dip into something else, just to show you what it can do. It's quite shiny in the crease. I'm okay with that though. It doesn't super bother me. I'm not bothered by a shimmer in the crease on me, on you, on anybody. It's not something that really matters to me. You do whatever you're comfortable with. I'm comfortable with this, so that's what I'm going to do. I am going to tightline now with my Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal, my little almost gone little baby. I think it can survive one more sharpening. I am going to try to ever so lightly go under my bottom lash line with the black. I've got the tiniest amount here, and I'm going to keep it really close to the lash line. One thing that I will say for this black is it's very easy to work with. I'm going to take a tiny, tiny little buffer brush and just get a touch of the green to go under my lash line. I just looked in my magnifying mirror to see if there was any fallout. There is just very few little glitter particles. I think it's from this white, like toppery shade. It does have quite chunky glitters. I like this better than the YSL chunky glitter shade because, as you can see, it kind of holds together a little bit better than that. It does have quite a few actual sparkles in it. Those fill out a little bit under my eyes. Nothing bad. I am going to do a wing liner with my NARS Climax eyeliner, and I will be right back. For some reason, I just feel like I need a bit of a smoky liner, so I'm just going to try to smoke this out a touch, just kind of right here at the outer corner. I mean, I only have a liner on the outer corner. I am using my KULFI Badi Lash. And we've ended up with a very bold look, but this was a bold black palette, so that was kind of my goal. I wanted to do something a little extra. So, because the lipstick that we have is very extra. I picked up the Dior Addict lipstick in bold black because, I mean, naturally, it's bold black. It looks like a deep purple. There is a close-up of that shade. And a nice bullet with the CD on the end. I love looking at a nice unused lipstick bullet. Super sheer, super sheer. So this looks like a lip tint. This is exactly what I was hoping it would be. I was hoping it would not be like a vampy deep purple lip. I mean, it's a vampy shade, but it's sheer. This is DEMI. Ooh, that might be the one. DEMI from FARA HOMIDI. That's another option. Iconic Nude. Try Dior Grayish Attitude. That's another option. I think that might look too gray. I think I kind of want something with a little bit of pink or berry. That is Jones Road and Nudist. That's another option. It's just a very neutral nude. And then Max Stone. Let's look at Skinny Dip. Skinny Dip's an option too. I think we're going to go with DEMI. We're kind of over the top. Let's go full out. I feel like DEMI is really going to take this into like vampy, and I don't know that I really want vampy, but we'll see. Let's try it out. Now we're like fall, which is really, really pretty, but not quite what I want to go for today. So I'm going to wipe this off and we're going to try it with Skinny Dip. So I called that Skinny Dip. That was actually Speakeasy from SOSHE. This is Skinny Dip. We are going to use Speakeasy from SOSHE. This is Speakeasy. I'm just trying to see how versatile this is, to see if I can keep it out of vampy territory. It might be impossible. I mean, look at the shade. I'm just seeing what I can do. All right, this is the one that we're going to stick with. I think it'll all come together when I have blush on. I'm trying to decide what cheek color I want to use, though. We can go full out pink with Armani. I don't know. Don't know if I'm loving that. I think we need to go in with the Ilia. Yep, that's the one. So this is obviously a very deep, intense shade. We're going to see if we can use it very lightly and not go overboard. That's incredibly pigmented right off the bat. Like right off the bat, we've gone too far. The shade is gorgeous. I'm going to go over it with my beauty blender and try to lighten it up. It's fine, but it might be just a little much for the eye look. So there we have it. Let's talk about these products. I have some thoughts. I always have thoughts. I always have lots of thoughts. Starting with the Armani Skin Tint, I think it looks absolutely beautiful on the skin. I really do. I think that despite the fact that up very close, it kind of accentuates some dryness. I kind of feel like that's to be expected with something, at least on my skin, I expect it with something with high alcohol content. It's kind of unusual that as thin as this is and as light coverage as it is, it's still doing that. Most noticeably around my chin area. This is an area where if anything is going to show texture or dryness, it's going to be here. I don't know why, but this is just the area where if anything is like my forehead, usually everything looks okay. This looks beautiful on the forehead. And honestly, like I said, at this viewing distance and even just me going and looking in my bathroom mirror or the mirrors around my house, it looks absolutely stunning. It's not something I can see at a normal viewing distance. I am just talking very, very magnified, which is something that nobody else would be able to see. I can see some dryness. So I just want to mention that. I will play with it more. I don't know if I mentioned the scent. It does have that typical Armani fragrance. It has a matte dry down, but it has a glow. This skin tint looks absolutely beautiful on skin. It's not going to be one that I can wear a lot because of how it looks slightly dry on my non-dry skin. So if you have dry skin, let me know if you've tried this and how it works out for you. I do think it's beautiful. Most formulations that are high in alcohol just don't look right on my skin in the long term. They go on beautifully, but they tend to dry out my skin over time. And oftentimes, if I'm wearing something with a high alcohol content, by the end of the day, my skin looks a little dry and dehydrated. That's just me, though. There are plenty of people out there that wear complexion products with high alcohol. Armani Luminous Silk is one, and it looks beautiful on their skin, sits beautifully on the skin, and they love it. For me personally, it's not my favorite. The Jones Road sunscreen, like so far so good. This side of my face actually does look smoother. This is the side that has gone through it. Maybe it's super exfoliated from all the wiping. I don't know, but it does look beautiful, and it went on beautifully. It went on top of that irritated skin with no issue. It didn't irritate, it didn't burn, it didn't sting. That's a true testament to me of a good product, is if you can put it on a compromised skin barrier or raw skin and it doesn't sting. I really like this. I'm going to keep trying it. I do have a full face of Jones Road that I'm working on. It'll probably be a while, but I am working on that. So look out for that. This NATASHA DENONA bronzer is really pretty. This is a beautiful formula if you like a liquid bronzer. Liquid bronzers are, in my opinion, more difficult to work with than a powder or a cream. It's an extra step. You kind of have to be a little more careful when you're applying it with a brush or a sponge or whatever. This would have probably gone on better with a sponge. I probably should have used a sponge with it. Next time I will. It went on perfectly with a brush. It was much easier to work with than the Westman Atelier. I think it's a beautiful formula, a beautiful shade. They have an excellent shade range. I think it's a really nice bronzer. And I don't typically like bronzers in this format, but this one and the Westman Atelier have changed my mind. The Ilia blush in Wonder, it's just different than I expected. I expected a terracotta, and to me, it's almost bordering on berry. It's got a lot of pink in it. I can see terracotta in there, but I can also see a lot of pink, you know, some magenta. So it's not as warm as I expected it to be, but it is very beautiful. I mean, it's warm. Don't get me wrong. It's warm, but I expected it to be warmer. I expected this to be something that I could almost use as a bronzer or something. It's not. It's a blush. It's a beautiful blush shade. It has a gorgeous sheen. These Ilia blushes are beautiful. I think the price is right. I think the packaging is nice. I don't mind that there's not a mirror. That is for sustainability reasons, I'm sure, especially with a brand like Ilia. So when a product doesn't include a mirror, I'm not really pressed about it. The Dior eyeshadow quint. I have mixed thoughts on this because I absolutely love the palette itself and the formula. I don't like that there is nothing different about this. And it's so much more than their normal, typical shadow palettes. It just doesn't make sense to me, like why this was $85. The formula is nice. It's a beautiful formula. I can't help but think that I paid $10 extra or however much extra for this pouch. And I have no use for this. I don't store my makeup in a pouch. Even if I travel, I don't store my makeup in these pouches. It's a nice touch when you're purchasing a luxury item to get this, like opening the package, because you feel like it's protected in transit. They've taken the extra step to really care for the product. So I like when products come in this. However, this is not worth $10. To me, I'm not going to use it again. That aside, price aside, the actual formula, the actual palette itself is quite lovely. I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy to have basically what I think of when I see this palette is you have several what could be one and done shades, or you have several different tones of a smoky eye, or several different looks like I've done today. Like this isn't necessarily a smoky eye. It's mostly what you're seeing is the green. However, I could do this exact same thing with the beige or the pink. You know, it's not pink, but you know what I mean, or the green or the white. Like, I just think that this is a very versatile palette. It's different to anything that I have in my collection. Most of what I have in my collection are going to be warm tone palettes or brown palettes or neutrals. This is just something different. It's fun. It's fall. It's spring. I mean, this can even go into spring without the black or just using the black, you know, very, very lightly. It's very versatile. The only shade that I can say that I'm not a huge fan of is this white. It's just too flaky. This reminds me of the YSL topper shades. I don't like topper shades, but that's a me thing. That's not necessarily how everybody feels. There are plenty of people that like a shade like this that you can just tap over the lid. I find them a little too dry, a little too flaky, a little too difficult to work with for the way that I do my eyeshadow, but there's no denying it's a beautiful shade. It's a beautiful topper shade. It feels nicer to me than the YSL, but it's still something that I wish were different. However, all of these other shades are really, really lovely. I really do like this palette. It's limited edition, and I think that if you don't have something like this in your collection, I don't think that you would be disappointed by it. The actual formulas are very nice. I didn't swatch the black. Wow, look at that. That's like charcoal inky black. And then this one up here, I really like this one. This shade, I didn't really use it. I mean, I kind of brushed it through the crease just to give a hint of warmth there, but I didn't really use it. This one is just a beautiful sheen. It doesn't have any chunky glitter. It's just like a metallic, look at that, a metallic sheen. The green it almost feels matte in the pan. It almost looks like it's going to be a matte, but you can see on the eyes, it's clearly not. Like it's very, very punchy. It's very shimmery when sheared out. It does some magic on the eyes. So this is why I don't recommend judging a palette just by swatches. Swatches are fun. I love swatching things. That is probably my favorite thing to do when it comes to makeup, all kinds of makeup, cheek products. I mean, look, I'm covered in swatches. I love swatching things, but it does not tell the full story. Oh my gosh, that black has stained my finger. Really am happy with this eyeshadow palette. I think that the formulas are great. This is like a lip product that I had to try it. However, this is something that I think in the future will probably likely not use it like I have it today. What I will likely be using this for is like a shade adjuster. Like if I have on a lip color that is too warm or too bright and I want to tone it down or cool it off a little bit, like it's something that's too orange. I like warm tones, but I don't like orange. Then I would put this on to shade adjust. So that is how I see myself using this. I'm very happy to have it, and I'm glad that I tried it because it's not nearly, just so you know, if you are curious about this shade too, because there aren't any swatches on the website. That's why I was like, it's kind of a risk to buy it. If you're curious about this, it is like a very deep, cool purple but it is sheer. I think it's beautiful. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. I just want to say that again. I reached 4,500 subscribers. I cannot believe it. I was shocked when I hit 1,000, like mind blown, right? And I thought, okay, well, I hit 1,000. That's it. And now I'm at 4,500 and I can't believe it. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing, for commenting, for all of the love and support that you show me. It means so much to me. And when I get in my comments and I say, I appreciate you, I really mean that. That is not something that I just say. That's not my signature. I truly appreciate you. And I try to tell each of you individually when I can. Just know that I do. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you soon in another video. And until then, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.